good evening. We're coming live to you from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, presented by Schneider Electric Smart Home Solutions. You're watching the Hard Facts with me, Akanksha Swaroop. The abusive remarks passed against Prime Minister Modi's late mother are back to haunt the Congress party and the RJD. This because they were made at an India Bloc rally in Bihar's Darbhanga last week. A local Congress supporter, Mohammad Rizvi, was arrested and sent to 14-day judicial custody. But today, Prime Minister, who's back from his tour to Japan and China, finally broke his silence. He slammed the RJD and Congress for an anti-women mindset. In fact, the Prime Minister has accused both parties of being inimical to the progress of women and also those from underprivileged backgrounds. He said that while he might forgive the RJD and Congress for disrespecting his late mother, the people of Bihar will not. With Prime Minister's primary reminder for the people of pole-bound Bihar being that it was the land of goddess Sita or Janki, where rivers are referred to as Maya, meaning mother. So for a state like that, should the honor of women, especially mothers, not be paramount? Perhaps the politics of the state has forgotten the cultural stature of its women. As Prime Minister Modi highlighted how RJD government gave protection to murderers and rapists during its tenure, with Congress assuming that it's the right of namdars to abuse kamdars, meaning the ones with lineage abusing the ones who toil. The BJP has always maintained that personal attacks for Modi are not new, especially by leaders of the Congress party. From Maut Ka Saudagar to Chaiwala, Ravan, or a poisonous snake. Rather ironical for a party that has Priyanka Gandhi tom-tomming the motto, Ladki hoon, lad sakti hoon. So by not offering an apology for an insult to someone's late mother, that too the Prime Minister of this nation, have Congress and RJD reached a new low in politics, where young princes born into royal families have now become incapable of understanding the penance of a poor mother and the suffering of her son. Will Bihar fix the accountability of this insult to a mother and the pichda वर्ग?
बिहार में आरजेडी कांग्रेस के मंच से मेरी मां को गालियां दी गई। ये गालियां सिर्फ मेरी मां का अपमान नहीं है, ये देश की मां, बहन, बेटी का अपमान है। आप सब जानते हैं, अब मेरी मां का शरीर तो इस दुनिया में नहीं है। मेरी उस मां को आरजेडी कांग्रेस के मंच से भद्दी भद्दी गालियां दी गई। उस मां का क्या गुनाह जैसे भद्दी गालियां सुना दी जाए। एक गरीब मां की तपस्या, उसके बेटे की पीड़ा, ये शाही खानदानों में पैदा हुए युवराज नहीं समझ सकते। ये नामदार लोग तो सोने चांदी का चम्मच लेकर पैदा हुए हैं। देश की जनता जनार्दन ने एक गरीब मां के कामगार बेटे को आशीर्वाद देकर प्रधान सेवक बना दिया। ये बात नामदारों को पच नहीं रही है।
न कांग्रेस में कोई ऐसा नेता या कार्यकर्ता है जो किसी की मां का अपमान कर सकता है। मैं पूरी उम्मीद है मुझे कि बीजेपी में भी ऐसा नहीं होगा। लेकिन जो व्यक्ति कहता है मैं नॉन बायोलॉजिकल हूं, वो किसका अपमान कर रहा है? क्या वो अपनी मां का अपमान नहीं कर रहा?
जो मानसिकता इस प्रकार की शब्दावली का प्रयोग करती है, जिस प्रकार से आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की माता जी को लेकर के किया गया, वो वास्तव में उस मानसिकता की झलक है जिसने 50-60 बरस इस मुल्क पर हुकूमत की शासन किया।
वो पूरे देश की मां को गाली दिया गया है और एकदम ये रॉन्ग है। और उनकी माँ, हमारी माँ और पूरे देश की माँ एक जैसी होती है, ठीक है ना। मोदी है तो मुमकिन है आगे सब सही होगा। हम लोग सब जिनका दीदी हो सब विरोध करेंगे इसके लिए क्यों नहीं करेंगे? क्योंकि हमारे लिए इतने, जब सरकार हमारे लिए इतने कुछ कर सकते हैं, तो क्या मैं अपनी माँ के लिए इतना कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं? बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं।
All right, let's introduce our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Sanju Verma, who's the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Arshpreet Khadial, who's the spokesperson of the Congress Party, also joined in by Sanjeev Srivastav, who's a senior journalist. Thank you, Sanju, and the gentlemen for joining in. Arshpreet, first of all, important to highlight, how did Mohammad Rizvi even get to that stage of a rally, which was an India Bloc rally, and be allowed to hurl those expletives against the Prime Minister's late mother?
Number one individual statement should not be and cannot be attributed to the entire party, number one. Number two, if that is done, it amounts to politics, which Mr. Modi is clearly tried to do. Number three, if they are going to be attributing it to the entire party, when the Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders called Rahulji's mother Jersey cow to Sonia Gandhi ji, where was the statement then by Mr. Modi? Number two, when statements were made, Congress की एक कौन सी विधवा है, 50 करोड़ की गर्लफ्रेंड, विदेशी ताकतों का मोहरा, when Colonel Qureshi, a serving army officer, was called a sister of terrorists by the Bharatiya Janata Party's minister, where was Mr. Modi's statement then? Where was the action that should have been taken against him then? Mr. Modi did not even utter a word over that. And number two, when Mr. Modi says that this extends to the sisters and daughters and mothers of the entire country, how, by what logic, and by what possible sense? Is this not politics? Is this not our Honorable Prime Minister trying to politicize the issue? We only want to ask the Bharatiya Janata Party this one thing. Could we have lectures from the BJP on women empowerment who have leaders like Brij Bhushan, Chinmay Anand, Kuldeep Sengar, Sandeep Singh, these kind of people, these kind of leaders you have in the party. And as per many reports, the Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders have the maximum crime against women category cases pending. And what of the mothers that have died in Punjab due to floods? Not a single visit by Mr. Modi. What of the mothers, what of the daughters, what of the sisters that have died in Himachal due to floods? Not a single visit by Mr. Modi. We want to know it from the Bharatiya Janata Party. What of those mothers? What of the mothers in Manipur?
You've raised your concerns, but I do hope that you heard all those women bites that we played out from Bihar. They are not any party supporters. They are the women of Bihar. So, Sanju Verma, would you like to come in on that?
Yeah. Akanksha, I did not heckle the Congress spokesperson. I hope I'll be extended that courtesy. Let me, it's only proper that the Congress and more importantly, your audience gets to hear that Congress has an abusive history. Maut ka Saudagar by Sonia Gandhi against PM Modi. Manishankar Iyer called the Pradhan Mantri Neech. Anand Sharma called Prime Minister Modi mentally unstable. Digvijay Singh called him Rakshash. Hitler, Mussolini, Gaddafi was called by Pramod Tiwari. And then there are people within the Congress who call the Prime Minister Bhasmasur, monkey. Beni Prasad Verma called Modi ji a mad dog. And Imran Masood, he was actually given an empty ticket from Saharanpur. He asked for the beheading of Modi ji, calling, इनकी तो बोटी नोच कर इनकी बोटी काट देनी चाहिए. But this is not about your abuse versus my abuse. My limited point is this. In politics, I can understand sometimes tempers are flying high and political pot shots are taken. But Pradhan Mantri Modi ji ki Mata Shri, first and foremost, she is no longer alive. Secondly, she had nothing to do with politics at all for the longest time that she was alive. So the limited point is, by abusing the Prime Minister's mother who's dead, by abusing the Prime Minister's mother who's no longer alive, political discourse has touched a new low. And Akanksha, let's get one thing very clear. Women empowerment की बात यहाँ पर कांग्रेस के प्रवक्ता ने की. I hope you remember that barely 2 weeks back, the youth Congress leader, the youth Congress president of Kerala, a man called Rahul Mabkootathil, sexual assault, sexual violence, molestation charges against youth president of Kerala Congress have been leveled by Rini George, a famous actress, transgender activist, what have you. And let your audience know, beat Bhavari Devi, beat Kalpana Giri, beat Jessica Lal, be it Sarita Nair, be it Himani Narwal, or for that matter, Sonia Gandhi's personal secretary P.P. Madhavan, who died last year at the age of 73. A 26-year-old widow had leveled rape accusations against Sonia Gandhi's personal secretary P.P. Madhavan, and Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Vadra, who goes breaking barricades in Hathras. लड़की हूं लड़ सकती हूं, लड़की हूं लड़ सकती हूं. अरे आपकी माता श्री के खुद के पर्सनल सेक्रेटरी सोनिया गांधी पीए पीपी माधवन raped a 26-year-old woman good enough to be his granddaughter. तब लड़की हूं लड़ सकती हूं के नारेबाजी का क्या हुआ? सोनिया गांधी did not deem it fit to remove PP Madhavan. You know, Congress leader Mahesh Joshi's son in Rajasthan, Rohit Joshi, not accused, convicted of rape. How many times has Rahul Gandhi condemned Rohit Joshi? How many times has Rahul Gandhi condemned Deepak Meena, the son of Congress MLA from Alwar, Johari Lal Meena? Deepak Meena convicted of rape. Brijbhushan Sharan Singh ke khilaf, yadi there is even an order of capital punishment, I say so be it. But media will not engage in a trial. 1100-page charge sheet was filed. The case is sub judice. If the case is brought to fruition, courts find him guilty, so be it. But the courts will decide, not Arshdeep Khadial or Sanju Verma. इसलिए women empowerment पर भाषण देना बंद करो. Shame on you for abusing Prime Minister's dead mother, and you're trying to bring in false equivalences. I condemn this, politics of opportunism by the Congress party. And Akansha, in last 10 seconds, where is Rahul Gandhi? Do you remember what he said prior to 2024 Lok Sabha elections? अरे ये जो नरेंद्र मोदी है ना, ये जब कल चुनाव हार जाएगा, देश की जनता का नरेंद्र मोदी की डंडों से पिटाई करेगा. This is a man who aspires to be the Prime Minister. He speaks like a roadside hoodlum. अरे रोड के चलते मवालियों की भी भाषा राहुल गांधी से बेहतर होती है. यहाँ बैठकर बीजेपी भाषण मत दो. If you have the guts, condemn what Mohammad Rizvi said about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's mother.
Okay, Sanjeev Srivastav, we have data backing the facts that every time there have been abuses hurled at the Prime Minister, it's only backfired for the Congress party. At a time, the Prime Minister was unveiling a cooperative for women. We know that taking the Ram Mandir forward, now there will be the Bhumi Pujan for a Sita Mandir has already been done in Bihar. How will this go down for not just the Congress party but for the RJD as well? It's completely taken away the focus of their entire rally, given the fact that these abuses were heard not just from the crowd at the rally, from the stage at that India Bloc rally.
So, Akanksha, first of all, there can be no defense for any statement against anybody's mother, let alone the Prime Minister's.
Not just the Prime Minister, yes.
Late mother.
Yes.
So, this has to be condemned in the strongest terms. Now, beyond that, and like you rightly pointed out, till date the Prime Minister and the BJP has benefited whenever the Prime Minister has been abused. So whether it was 2007 Maut Ka Saudagar till the niche of Manishankar Iyer in 2017 Gujarat elections, and there have been other instances also. Post 2019, I don't remember much. I do remember that while during Karnataka elections, the Prime Minister raised this issue. Priyanka Gandhi said that why is he playing a victim card? So that is the combative politics between Congress and BJP. But so it's very difficult to guess how it will play out. But one thing you can be quite certain of, that there is no way it can benefit the Congress and RJD. So now how much of harm will be caused, we don't know. My personal thing is that this whole thing about abuse politics has played its time out. It has reached a saturation point. But then I may be wrong. We'll know during elections and campaigning how it plays out. I don't think it will have as much resonance as it has had in the past between say 14 to 19. But but that's just my estimate.
Okay,
so I really
Kailash,
no
I want to bring you in because the Prime Minister. Okay. I want to quickly bring in Kailash as well. Kailash, the Prime Minister has also made this into a dual attack. He's called this about a battle between the Namdar and the Kamdar. Of course, he's also lashed out at the two men primarily Rahul Gandhi and Tejashwi Yadav, he's referred to as princes who are perhaps levitated from the reality of life on ground zero. So this is bound to have ramifications for a state which has tremendous devotion and faith in the mother, in the identity of what a mother stands for in Bihar, as he rightly highlighted that this is a state where even rivers are suffixed as Maiya.
Absolutely, Akanksha. I believe that the grand old party or the principal opposition party of this country, since the time prior to 2014, I thought I'm a firm believer now that they could smell defeat. And after 2014, now that there is an electoral frustration within them, which is so deep that which makes them forget, what is a fine line and what is a thin line in a political discourse. If you are in a particular rally and if you are trying to, talk about the opposition party, you should have some constructive points. That is why an opposition is said to be always, it should in a democracy be a constructive opposition. But in the past 11 years of being the opposition party, whether it be any state election or be it the national election, the Congress has always, that line has always blurred. And that the deep reason, Akanksha, why that line has blurred because there is no merit. When you cannot fight on merit, then you try and latch onto certain things which are beyond the point. And in that race of doing so, you forget in a political discourse. And what today happened and what the incident happened where the opposition leader in the state of Bihar, he brought in the late Prime Minister's mother, who had no ounce of any relation with politics. A woman who lived with dignity for or close to 100 years, the late Prime Minister's mother, and bringing her into such catching attack in a political setup is a new, as Ms. Sanju Verma said, it's a new low. And we have been always seeing a new low by Congress. Now I'm not able to define or decipher what was the earlier new low, because every time there is a new low.
Ashpreet Khadial, interestingly, Prime Minister Modi also mentioned Draupadi Murmu and the insults hurled at her. He said that the RJD is known to be anti-women. Their mindset has proven to be so because they were the ones giving refuge to rapists and murderers. He's also attacked the Congress party for being against the Pichhda Varg. We've seen that how, in fact, there have been insults also hurled against the president. How do you respond to that attack? It's a dual attack, mind you.
Thank you for the question. First and foremost, we really hope that the kind of statements that Mr. Modi gives vis-a-vis women empowerment would also come when their leaders are caught up in cases which are crime against women. Number one, Saeed Shahnawaz Hussain, rape charges against him, a former union minister. Why did Mr. Modi not say anything about that? Gorakh Pordang, MLA of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Again, Ravindranath Tripathi, MLA of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Harish Shakya, accused in gang rape. Why did Mr. Modi not talk about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao? And number three, there are many leaders of the Bharatiya Party like Ramesh Bidudi ji, Kailash Vijayvargiya ji, Ramchandra Jangra ji, and many others that have made statements that are demeaning women, demeaning our mothers, our sisters, our daughters. And the kind of words that our Honorable Prime Minister Modi's used back in the day.
So Ashpreet, let's begin by fixing accountability. Will you, on behalf of the Congress party, offer that apology that such an incident happened during an India Bloc rally in Bihar, which was also a rally being conducted by your party and the RJD? If you're so concerned about the respect for women and women empowerment, let's start from home.
See, we definitely believe...
Do you regret the incident?
One second, please. We practice what we preach. It is the Bharatiya Janata Party that does not do that. We only say that when you make these remarks, when a serving colonel was called a sister of terrorists, a serving colonel, an army officer, imagine what the kind of statements, the kind of things that the Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders would be saying about women. If they can say such things about army
I'm going to take all of that with Sanju. But please, I have one moot question which you are refusing to answer. You just now said that you practice what you preach. Will the Congress party offer an apology for what happened last week at the rally in Darbhanga? That too from the stage of your rally. It's a very basic question.
One second. Now there is a massive difference. The leaders that I talked of have rape charges against them. The person that you are talking about is not our leader. Is not a part of the Congress party.
He's your supporter. He was there on the stage of your rally.
Now the Bharatiya Janata Party, you are talking of a supporter, and I'm talking of the Bharatiya Janata Party's ministers, MPs, and MLAs. There are rape charges.
Sanju Verma, please respond.
Okay. You know, I would, first and foremost, I think, Akanksha, hats off to you. We are having a very sane debate with nobody interjecting the other person despite tempers flying high.
I hope it remains
like that. I will start. Yes, I hope, it remains like that. Let me start with a few Hindi panktiyan to showcase the hypocrisy of the Congress party, especially its top brass like Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Vadra and Sonia Gandhi. तू छोड़ दे कोशिशें इंसानों को पहचानने की. तू छोड़ दे कोशिशें इंसानों को पहचानने की. यहाँ जरूरतों के हिसाब से सब बदलते नकाब हैं. यहाँ जरूरतों के हिसाब से सब बदलते नकाब हैं. अपने गुनाहों पर 100 पर्दे डालकर, अपने गुनाहों पर 100 पर्दे डालकर हर शख्स कहता है जमाना बड़ा खराब है. हर शख्स कहता है जमाना बड़ा खराब है. And these lines I particularly dedicate to the rabid hypocrisy of the Congress party and the brazen impunity with which they are trying to completely shove things under the carpet and say Mohammad Rizvi ye kaun hai? Ye to BJP ka agent hai. Forget Mohammad Rizvi. I really don't care about him. What I care about is the fact that Priyanka Vadra has an opinion on everything under the sun. Has there been a condemnation from Priyanka Vadra's part? No. Sonia Gandhi is busy writing op-ed columns. Has she condemned Mohammad Rizvi? No. Rahul Gandhi जो देश का भ्रमण करते हैं, मोहब्बत की दुकान की गाथा गाते हैं, has he condemned Mohammad Rizvi? No. I'll tell you why, Akanksha. The core DNA of the Congress party is abusive. And let me say one thing. You know, the Congress spokesperson took some pot shots. Oh, women empowerment is all just a hoax in the BJP. 12 crore plus toilets built under such Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. 100% beneficiaries are young girls and women. 67% of the beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana are women. Today there are 1.76 lakh startups, out of which 45% are either owned, co-owned, founded or co-founded by women. 100% beneficiaries of Ujjwala Yojana are women. 69% beneficiaries of Ayushman Bharat are women. 100% beneficiaries of Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana are women. So the BJP under Prime Minister Narendra Modi has walked the talk. We don't talk about women empowerment. We talk about women-centric and women-led development. But most importantly, before I close, and I don't want to be verbose, is this. There is a girl called Archana Gautam. Ahead of Uttar Pradesh 2022 assembly elections, Priyanka Vadra used her as the poster girl of her Ladki Hu, Lad Sakti Hu campaign. Ahead of Lok Sabha 2024, Archana Gautam, a Dalit girl, and her father were beaten black and blue outside the Congress party headquarters by Priyanka Vadra's personal secretary, a man called Sandeep Singh. Priyanka Vadra के मुंह में ताला लग गया. राहुल गांधी ने जो दलितों की आवाज होने का ढोंग करते हैं, राहुल गांधी के मुंह में ताला लग गया. And my final point is this.
Yes, Ashpreet, I have time. I am going to give you
just 10 seconds more. 10 seconds more and I'll be done. There's a young girl called Sukanya Devi who was gang raped in December 2006 in Amethi. She and her entire family disappeared in 2007. Till today, nobody knows whether Rahul Gandhi was one of the perpetrators or not. If Rahul Gandhi को ट्रांसपेरेंसी की इतनी ही पड़ी है तो सुकन्या देवी केस के बारे में एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की जाए.
Okay, Ashpreet Kadiyal, I still come back to where it all began from the rally in Darbhanga. Pawan Kheda has today said that this is an attempt to distract. Perhaps it's also distracting your entire party and the motive behind that rally only because there's no condemnation coming. Why not offer that condemnation and put an end to this?
See, I want to make it very clear, in fact, crystal clear, that that person is not a leader, not a worker, nothing of the Congress party.
But because it was from the stage of your party,
the BJP spokesperson spoke
of the entire alliance's rally, that is why.
Like the BJP spokesperson spoke uninterrupted, please allow me 30 seconds. What we are saying is not a worker, not a leader, no association at all whatsoever with the Congress party. Yet we say it was good that he was arrested. Now, at the same time, we say that the Bharatiya Janata Party's minister should also have been arrested. His ministry should have been taken away from him, who called Colonel Qureshi a sister of terrorists. Nothing was done. Number two, when Kangana Ranaut said that 100 rupees were taken by our mothers and sisters who went for the farmers' protest, why did Mr. Modi not say a word about that? Why was there was no condemnation? Why there was no action taken against Kangana Ranaut? And number two, she said that rapes took place in the farmers' protest, the very farmers' protest in which 700 farmers were martyred, and the BJP made a U-turn on the farm laws, and Mr. Modi apologized for it. Yet there was no condemnation of Kangana Ranaut's statements. I want to ask the Bharatiya Janata Party, when would you start practicing what you preach? Why do you have these double standards?
Okay, Sanju Verma, would you like to come in on that? Ashpreet, you've raised your question. Let's have her.
Yes. I just have one thing to say. Since Kangana Ranaut was mentioned, let me make one thing very clear. The social media head of Congress party, an abusive lady called Supriya Shrineth, had posted a tweet saying, Mandi ka bhav kya chal raha hai, Mandi ka rate kya chal raha hai, and then instead of acknowledging her blunder, she said, nahi, somebody else posted that, I'm not aware who handles my SM team. So ek to chori, upar se seena jori. So Kangana Ranaut ka Mandi ka comment, yadi yaad aa jaye, hang your head in shame. Supriya Shrineth has never covered herself in glory. But let me come to the moot point. Do you remember in 2021, there was a rape of a 14-year-old girl in Alwar. She was a deaf and mute girl. And after her rape, what did the statement by Ashok Gehlot, what was the statement who was then the Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot and a close confidant of Gandhi's, what did he say on the floor of the Rajasthan Assembly? Mere rongte khade ho jate hain when I still think of that statement. He said, अरे ये जो 14 साल की बच्ची रेप का लांछन लगा रही है ना अलवर में, कोई इसका बलात्कार वगैरह नहीं हुआ. ये जो दलित लड़कियां हैं, दलित महिलाएं हैं, उच्च कोटि के लोगों के खिलाफ बलात्कार का इल्जाम लगाती हैं ताकि उनसे कुछ पैसे ऐंठ सके. And the entire Congress cabal in the Rajasthan Assembly was clapping, cheering Ashok Gehlot.
I remember
laughing.
that. I remember that. Ashpreet, would you like to weigh in on that? Because it's very much feeding. That's very much feeding into Prime Minister's allegation that the Congress has an anti-Pichhda Varg mindset.
See, on one side, there are allegations of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and on the other side, there are leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party which have cases of gang rape pending against them. That Bharatiya Janata Party that has not even expelled these leaders, they still have them in the
Okay, I'm
party.
running short of time, and there are two very patient individuals. Okay, Sanju Verma, you have 15 seconds. 10 kya? Aap 15 lijiye, but let me move on now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And I also would like to thank the other two gentlemen who've been rather patient. I would just say one thing. Women empowerment की बात करना बंद करिए राहुल गांधी. 2006 में आपके खिलाफ आरोप है सुकन्या सिंह का सामूहिक बलात्कार अमेठी में हुआ था. राहुल गांधी में हिम्मत है तो चुनौती देती हूं, सुकन्या देवी के सामूहिक बलात्कार गैंगरेप पर प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करिए और बगले झांकना बंद करिए. बीजेपी को नैतिकता पर भाषण देना बंद करिए.
Okay, Sanjeev Srivastava, quick closing thoughts for parties that, particularly the RJD, which have been known or rather notorious for shielding criminals and rapists. Should these condemnations not arrive from them first, given that they are also parties with local state level clout?
BJP should practice what it
No,
preaches.
I'm talking to Sanjeev. Please, I'm going to have given both of you ample time. Sanjeev, please go ahead.
See, like the Congress spokesperson just now condemned the statement made by this particular gentleman, whoever, I'm forgetting his name,
no condemnation,
and welcomed his
Sanjeev.
arrest.
No, he's welcomed the arrest. There's no condemnation.
Welcome this. It's all right. Okay, that's the same thing. You welcome arrest only when you dislike something. So, because they dissociate themselves from that person, maybe they think it's not worth condemning. But I see no harm, political harm for the Congress and RJD if they condemn this incident. But what I honestly also feel, Akanksha, that we cannot have this selective outrage. That something is said about the Prime Minister's mother, very unfortunate, very condemnable. But the same yardstick should apply when comments are made about Sonia Gandhi or other women leaders or Renuka Chaudhary in the parliament or Mohua Mitra. There's so many nasty things are said.
Okay.
Then why don't we have this kind of an outrage? How do you say this? How have you said that? then all these talks vanish.
All
The
right.
victim card, is it only for the Prime Minister? And it works for him, I agree. But there is, I think, we have had enough of display.
Okay, enough of display. And Kailash Adhikari, what does Bihar finally deserve? After enough of display of rapes and murder, extortion, criminal gangs, what does Bihar deserve now?
Akanksha, even the people of Bihar know, what they deserve. They deserve Sushashan. And prior to 2005, there was only Jungle Raj. And RJD has been known for that. Whether it's any kind of all the societal menace that happens, it has happened before to 2005. And after 2005, we have seen the majority of the time that the Bharatiya Janata Party and the JDU have been in power. It has been Sushashan only and development for a state like Bihar. And I'd like to take more 5 seconds and end
Sure.
my thing here, Akanksha. We must all remember how Honorable Prime Minister, when Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, he came into the well of the house for voting. It was the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji who stood up and said in the parliament, and he congratulated the opposition and Dr. Manmohan Singh, especially as the former Prime Minister, that today Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, even though he was not physically well, he had came to vote, and this is the win of democracy. And time and again, Honorable Prime Minister, in the well of the Parliament, outside, in the press, or wherever he is, there's always a political decorum that he has always followed. And that fine line which I was talking about, he has never crossed. He even congratulated and went up to Dr. Manmohan Singh, who was on a wheelchair. I clearly remember that. And it was broadcasted also very fondly, that this is how a democracy works.
Okay.
And it's high time that the opposition knows.
In fact, no democracy can operate without extending respect to the women, whether it is women of a country or a state. Many thanks to you all for joining in on the Hard Facts. With that, quickly shifting focus over to the other big story that we've been tracking all day. The annual ritual of outrage, memes, netizen fury and protests is back. This as Gurugram was paralyzed by a 4-hour downpour on Monday. What was the result? Widespread flooding and traffic chaos. In fact, commuters faced nightmare journeys with major roads submerged. Many of them had to even stay back at their offices. The gridlock stretched for kilometers, as you can see for yourself in those aerial visuals. Understandably, residents have expressed their outrage over the city's infrastructure. They have highlighted the recurring monsoon woes, even questioned Gurugram's status as a millennium city, one where basements and markets have been flooded. The Congress has been quick in training its guns at the BJP government, with Randeep Surjewala attacking the triple engine model of this government, that being the central government, state government and the Gurugram Municipal Corporation. On the other hand, the BJP, in fact, its MP Nishikant Dubey has argued that the infrastructure crisis stemmed from historical lapses and poor city planning. He pointed to collusion between private builders and previous administrations as the root cause for this. But remember the reality of today, because Gurugram grapples not only with monsoon flooding but also winter-time smog, equally blessed by an unchecked automobile boom and stubble burning by farmers of Haryana and Punjab. Moot question being, is this the dream that was sold to the millennials of the Millennium City? The question being, will heads roll as the city sinks? That's the question we'll be posing to our guests. But Gurugram's condition is not for the lack of funds. It's due to the lack of strategy and planning. Let me break it down for you why we are saying so. Because the civic body has a budget of 35 crore rupees only for sewage and drainage. 80 crore rupees allocated for just roads, 350 crores for waste management, and yet we see heaps of garbage piling up in the Millennium City year after year. 110 crores are allocated for infrastructure development, but the city lies in shambles every time it rains. And so, when it comes to the Millennium City, the question we are posing to our guests, will heads finally turn? Let's find that out in just a bit.
After just 10 minutes of rain, the entire city of Gurugram is yet again inundated in water. Currently, I am reporting from one of these locations in Gurugram, which is yet again seeing massive water logging that is happening over here. I'm currently reporting from one of the busiest chowks out here in Gurugram, that is the Rajiv Chowk, and this is the condition of the subway over here. Even after 12 hours since the rains have stopped over here, this entire subway is still inundated in water.
We are currently at the office of Municipal Corporation Gurugram. As you can see the board behind me, and viewers, this is the situation of the MCD office just after 10 minutes of rain. The very own office which is responsible, the authority which is responsible to make sure that the streets and the roads of Gurugram do not turn into rivers here.
बहुत सारे एरियाज है जो कि पानी भरा ही रहता है, वो निकलना इम्पॉसिबल है वहाँ से।
देखिए इतना पानी में मैं वहाँ से भीग के आया हूँ, वहाँ से, और बोल रहे हैं कि 20 रुपए दो तब मैं आपको ना कंपनी तक छोड़ूंगा।
All right, let me introduce my guests today. I'm joined in by Advait Akala, who's an author and Gurugram resident as well. Also joined in by Avishkar Singhvi, who's a lawyer at the Supreme Court, also an analyst. And I'm in fact being told that Mr. H.S. Sancheti, who's a former chief town planner at the government of Rajasthan, will also be joining us in just a minute. But Advaita, I want you to begin with your own sort of experience in Gurugram. And as a resident of Gurugram, how have you seen this so-called millennial city deteriorate over the past decade? Advaita, that question's for you. All right, I think her frame has just now frozen. But Avishkar, if I may take that question with you, but many are asking, where do you fix accountability? So, you know, I've already taken our viewers through the kind of political blame game that's already on. Many, of course, talking about the builder nexus and how this has to be perhaps called a historical issue. But do you think this is just about a historical issue?
Well, the situation, the abysmal and despicable situation that we find ourselves today in is not just the result of any one factor, but a culmination of all of them. And I think, as you rightly pointed out, the lack of drainage, you know, the issues are now very clear before us. The problem lies in fixing accountability on the civic bodies, and that is very clear from our, the actions that they've taken and whether the budget has been correctly allocated. But I think this is a result of a continued neglect and a unreasonable resistance to change. See, the government, it's not a political blame game anymore. Sure. The government over there and the government in the center, the government in NCR may all be the same government. And I'm sure that they want to do well, they intend to do well for the place. But, however, we are not seeing results. Whether the budget has been allocated, there must be an audit report as to how much of that budget has actually been gone towards the intended expenditure and how much of it has been diverted. We also require, if at all, a higher budget allocation. Of course, historical issues are the easiest way to blame anything on. I think to say that, okay, this is a historical problem, it's correct that today the rains are happening at a much higher rate. But at the same time, what action has the government taken? There must be and the courts are helpless. I feel bad.
Why do you say so? Why do you say that the courts are helpless?
Cannot be monitoring such a situation. I mean, this is all for the authorities to do. What happens in court is that there's a petition that goes in court, and there is regular status reports that are called. And the courts cannot constantly monitor, supervise such a situation. The amenities and the lack of infrastructure and the lack of drainage is all the responsibility of the civic body.
Okay, stay with me. I can see Advaita is back with us, as is our third guest, Mr. Sancheti as well. Advaita, before I go across to Mr. Sancheti, I just want you to also highlight the plight of Gurugram at the moment. Okay, I think I have again lost Advaita's connection. Perhaps it's the torrential rainfall also that's impacting the network in Delhi and NCR. But Mr. Sancheti, as a former chief town planner at the government of Rajasthan, I just want you to take our viewers through what are the basics when a city is being planned out, especially when we look at Gurugram over here, which was launched as per the model of becoming a millennial city. Builders sold these grand ideas of how this would become the Manchester of India. And this happened way back in the early 90s when you're looking at this liberalization era. The economy was being opened up under the aegis of Manmohan Singh back then. So I'd like to know just the basics of how is town planning done and where has Gurugram gone wrong?
Yes, you are right. This is one of the very, very important city of North India, and it's a planned city, you know. But whenever we talk about the planning, we start with the regional planning, and fortunately, the Gurugram is part of NCR. NCR is a regional planning board for the planning of the UP, NCT area, Gurugram and Rajasthan. So Gurugram is also a part of that NCR. We are fortunate, but nothing is done by the authorities and we have not benefited by the NCR board. Secondly, master plan is very important. You know, whenever you plan a city, you should have a master plan of that particular city. Or whenever we prepare master plans, we collect all kind of data of that particular city, the population, the activities, business, facilities, institutions, infrastructure, and everything. So whenever we plan city, you have to study all aspects of different activities.
You know why I ask you, Mr. Sancheti? Because there are comparisons being drawn between Gurugram and other areas of Delhi NCR, primarily Noida and Greater Noida. Our studios are here and there's no waterlogging as such or submerged roads over in this part of NCR.
No doubt in it, I think because of the Aravalli Hills, there is a great slope. And the whole water comes to the Gurugram area.
So are you saying that when Gurugram was being planned, that was not kept in mind? The low-lying area?
No doubt in it, there is a master plan for 2031 and there is a drainage plan which was prepared in 2019. But nothing has happened. You know, authorities, the concerned authority, development authority and the municipal corporations, I think they have done in a piecemeal program, and whenever it happens, they take up the projects.
Okay.
When we see the situation of any city or particularly Gurugram, so lossage of natural drainage is very important. Then encroachments, then unplanned urbanization. You know, the encroachments and unplanned urbanization is one of the cause of the flooding. Then the concrete surface, there are number of flats, multi-story flats and group housings, and just because of that, consequently, the concrete surface has become a part of this town. Then inadequate outlets of the drainage systems. Then topography is such that the Aravalli's water, excess water, all comes in the Gurugram lower areas in the southern side of the town. So these are the basic facts which
all right, Mr. Sancheti, you've shared some very, very crucial points with us. Thank you for highlighting all those infrastructural requirements which clearly Gurugram has not been able to meet ever since its time of inception. But before I lose Adwaita again, Adwaita, good to have you back for a second time. And I want to ask you, as a resident of Gurugram, share your woes with us. How have you seen the so-called millennial city, in fact, deteriorate over the past decade? How is this impacting you as a woman also? Because why I'm emphasizing on that aspect is I've had callers today call up, women sharing woes of their daughters, their sisters, saying that even to go to a metro station, we need basic transport to get there, and even that is not available to us. So it's also meaning it's a double whammy for women for sure.
Oh, for everybody, you know, everybody, rich, poor, male, female, daily wager, corporate employee.
In terms of safety, that's why I highlight. And Gurugram is notorious for women's safety.
In terms of
Safety, yes. I mean, you need a pavement to walk on, right? Even if you need to walk somewhere. A month ago, when we had a similar Delhi coach, there was a woman who lost her life and another young man who was electrocuted. So this is not something that is happening for the first time. It happens multiple times in a year, and it happens every year. But there is nothing that the administration does. And I use the example of Noida, like you mentioned. You know, the good governance, Yogi Adityanath cracks the whip when he has to, and things are functioning. In Gurugram, where is the political will? Where is the administration? Nobody is taking accountability for this condition that we are in today. And this happens every single year. Why is someone not being held accountable? Are we waiting for the rains to go away and then things will go back to normal? Because that's the pattern that we've seen and are used to now. But no more. People this time round are sick and tired of the conditions that we have to live in every single year. And it's just unacceptable. I mean, Gurgaon isn't some miracle. The country of Netherlands, 30% of it is below water level. 65% of the population lives in those low-lying areas. You've ever heard of floods there? So we can find excuses galore. But if there is political will, if there is administrative will to find a solution, they can find a solution. And yes, a lot of wrongs have been done in the past. This is also a legacy issue. There was enough build-up political nexus over the years wherein land use was changed, rules were flouted, proper drainage systems were not installed as per the plans that were submitted. So a lot of that nonsense has taken place as well, and we find ourselves in a terrible situation. But that doesn't mean that the people who can make decisions, who can make changes, do nothing but just look up into the sky and wonder whether it's going to rain today or not and when it's going to stop.
Right.
Because then what's the difference between them and us?
Avishkar, I think Advaita has also raised some very critical points over here, because remember, many have spoken about how the onus also lies with the citizens. In fact, we had the Serbian man who in fact was at the hem of that entire garbage collection campaign that was conducted. It's an irony that you have foreign nationals doing that with the help of local residents. But where does the buck actually stop? With the local corporators, with the MLAs, the MPs, the chief minister, who by the way is also heading the municipal board in Gurugram. It's receiving 1,000 crore rupees annually. Where is the money going?
No, absolutely. I mean, to me, it's very clear. The statutory obligations are with the civic bodies, and they are the ones responsible. And through them, the moral and political accountability obviously goes to the governments. But these are all theories, you know. Like, I mean, you look at this kind of urban nightmare, and we are not just talking about a particular issue. We're talking about smog in the winters. We're talking about floods in the summer, in the monsoon. We're talking about a complete system failure. So to remedy something like this, you need a complete overhaul of this kind of nonsense that is going on. Pardon me for using that word. Today the system is completely neglected because there is not a concerted effort. It is not coordinated. We have one person, trying to make a difference, but there are 100 people trying to stop him in the way. And this kind of situation will keep coming back because you would learn from your lessons. And I'm very sad because I don't have to go to Gurgaon all the time, but I did go once recently, and it took me about 1.5 hours to reach there. You know, people who have a hospital appointment, just imagine their plight. Forget about, you look at
and the ones who perhaps need to be rushed to the hospital. What about them?
Rushed to the hospital, you probably, probably lose their life on the way.
Absolutely.
I think this is as bad as it gets. And look at the value of the real estate over there. I mean, the value.
That's exactly what I was coming to. So, Mr. Sancheti, many are asking, is it time to privatize as far as water management is concerned? Several societies don't even have rainwater harvestation. Where is the solution? Do people really deserve to invest 8 to 10 crores for just a regular plot of land, or pay 80,000 to a lakh for a 3 BHK rental?
Yes, of course. Planning is must. Whenever you talk about the planning, means the master plan, the zonal plan, the sector plans, and the group housing buildings. Fortunately, in Gurgaon, the group housing and the flats have come up in a gross capacity. So whenever you talk about the master plan, then there is a system of density control. Density control means you have to keep a population balance with the area available and how much will be the population. So this is the density control. But in Gurugram, all the land uses which were residential have been changed into the commercial. So there is a great pressure of the commercial areas and the population, and there is a pressure of the floating population also in the Gurugram area.
Okay.
We are not bothered for the floating population of the Gurugram.
Okay, I'm running short of time. So
Yeah,
I'll have to quickly give closing thoughts to Adwaita. Adwaita, there's a very interesting point that has been, in fact, highlighted by Mr. Sancheti, which is this rapid, unplanned expansion. You spoke about Yogi Adityanath cracking down here in Uttar Pradesh, but what about the government in Haryana, which also happens to be a BJP government? I'd rather not politicize it, but how much of an onus lies on the state government at the moment, given that it's been in power for 11 years? And you're also looking at Gurugram now merging in with Jaipur. That's why. Sorry. Now go ahead.
You know, the thing is that where do I even start? This is not political. You're right. But that's why I took the example of Uttar Pradesh, because that's also a BJP government. So it's not like one is sitting here with the knives out for BJP. No, that's not the point. But when there is good administration in one area and such pathetic administration in another, then we are going to make comparisons as taxpayers, because we are paying for these services. We are paying for these roads. We're paying for roads not to be flooded like this. We're paying for security. We're paying for safety. Now, these are things that we are paying for. We deserve them. We don't need to ask for them. We don't need to beg for them. These are things that are our right. And if the government does not show the will to do this, then quite
all right. Unfortunately, I can see nature's fury is unleashing your... Okay, I can see nature's fury is unleashed itself on Adwaita's network as well. And perhaps it continues to do so as we've been raising this question. Nobody knows how the roads are going to be reacting today or even tomorrow. This is not the millennial dream that was being sold off to all the residents of Gurugram. Perhaps it is time that the state government sits up and smells the coffee, because they certainly can't fake it till they flood it. That's all I have for you in this edition of The Hard Facts. Thank you so much for watching. And that's all I have for you in this edition of The Hard Facts. Thank you so much for watching The Hard Facts with me, Akanksha Swaroop, from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, presented by Schneider Electric Smart Home Solutions.
Presented by... This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nation at 5. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while addressing a public event in Bihar today, condemned the abuse and abusive remarks that were made about him and his late mother from a joint RJD-Congress platform during the India Bloc's Voter Adhikar rally in Darbhanga last week. Calling it an insult to all women, Prime Minister Modi said that my mother had nothing to do with politics, even despite that, she was then abused. He said that these remarks deeply hurt not just him, but mothers and daughters across Bihar and across the country. He questioned the dignity of the political discourse under the opposition's leadership. Meanwhile, the NDA has now called for a Bihar Bandh on the 4th of September over this abuse to Prime Minister and his mother.
बिहार में आरजेडी कांग्रेस के मंच से मेरी मां को गालियां दी गई। ये गालियां सिर्फ मेरी मां का अपमान नहीं है, ये देश की मां, बहन, बेटी का अपमान है। आप सब जानते हैं, अब मेरी मां का शरीर तो इस दुनिया में नहीं है। कुछ समय पहले 100 साल की उम्र पूरी करके वो हम सबको छोड़ के चली गई। एक गरीब मां की तपस्या, उसके बेटे की पीड़ा, ये शाही खानदानों में पैदा हुए युवराज नहीं समझ सकते। ये नामदार लोग तो सोने चांदी का चम्मच लेकर पैदा हुए हैं। वो तो यही मानते हैं कि देश और बिहार की सत्ता इन्हें अपने खानदान की विरासत लगती है। इन्हें लगता है कुर्सी इन्हें ही मिलनी चाहिए।
न कांग्रेस में कोई ऐसा नेता या कार्यकर्ता है जो किसी की मां का अपमान कर सकता है। मैं पूरी उम्मीद है मुझे कि बीजेपी में भी ऐसा नहीं होगा। लेकिन जो व्यक्ति कहता है मैं नॉन बायोलॉजिकल हूं, वो किसका अपमान कर रहा है? क्या वो अपनी मां का अपमान नहीं कर रहा?
Aman, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more perspective on this. Aman, the BJP is not going to let this go. They've decided to make it a political issue ahead of upcoming elections in Bihar.
Well, absolutely, Poonam, and especially after the Prime Minister has said today what he had to say while addressing this event in Bihar. Now we have senior ministers, Mr. Amit Shah, JP Nadda, the BJP president, also put out statements condemning what happened on on August 27th in Darbhanga, and the Prime Minister making it very, very clear that this was not just an insult of his late mother, it's an insult of every woman in Bihar, and that is why the BJP has decided to make this a major issue in Bihar. As we all know, the woman voter has always been a strong bloc for the NDA, both for the BJP and the JDU. There have been various issues in Bihar, be it the prohibition in Bihar or the improvement in the law and order which has happened in Bihar under the NDA rule. That is why the woman voter has rallied behind the NDA. With this particular issue now, the Prime Minister saying that his late mother was insulted from the stage of the Congress and the RJD, and no top Congress or RJD leader has apologized for the same. The Prime Minister saying that the people of Bihar, especially the women of Bihar, will never forget this insult, and that is why BJP is escalating there now. The BJP's Women Morcha in Bihar has called for a Bihar Bandh after a day on September 4th, and leading BJP leaders speaking about it in the larger context of Bihar elections. The BJP is trying to make it a larger issue about women's safety, women asmita, and saying that the RJD has never respected women, nor has the Congress party, and that shows in the lawlessness which prevailed in their rule in Bihar. And if they come back to power, these
In fact, now a notice has been issued to Pawan Khera for getting himself registered in the electoral roll of more than one constituency in Delhi. Remember, this after the BJP had pointed it out. The Congress leader himself has claimed that the EC should now investigate, but the poll panel has issued a notice to Pawan Khera for his explanation.
ये बीजेपी ने आज मेरे पर आरोप लगाया कि मैंने 2 जगह वोट दिया। अब मैं उन्हें चुनौती देता हूं, लाइए सीसीटीवी फुटेज नई दिल्ली के खंड संख्या 78 काकानगर पोलिंग बूथ का। हम तो सीसीटीवी फुटेज मांग रहे हैं, और हम ये भी कह रहे हैं कि बीजेपी अब हलफनामा दायर करे कि पवन खेड़ा ने 2 वोट दिए हैं इस इलेक्शन में। अब फिर उसके बाद बात करते हैं।
Arunima joins us, getting us more details on this. Arunima, the Congress is turning the tables on the poll panel here, that these discrepancies were highlighted by me, and why is it that the poll panel hasn't done anything for all these years? But now a notice has been issued to Pawan Khera himself.
Yes, the New Delhi election office of the New Delhi district, they have issued a notice to Pawan Khera asking why action should not be taken against him for having 2 epic cards, and he has been given time of 1 week. This notice says you are therefore directed to show cause as to why action should not be taken against you under the said act. Your reply should reach us by 11 a.m. next Monday. So he has been given time till 8th of September to respond to EC. He says that we gave in writing, we gave the requisite form number 7, when we shifted address. A lot of people in this country shift address, they shift cities, they shift colonies, and the required procedure is to tell the election commission or to tell the concerned electoral officials that they have moved. Pawan Khera claims he has done that, and yet if it
The two-day SCO summit ended yesterday, but its ripple effects are still being felt across the globe. Yesterday, photos of Prime Minister Modi with President Putin and Xi Jinping went viral, and Donald Trump was quick to respond. The US president called trade with India a one-sided disaster, while his Treasury Secretary went further, labeling the SCO performative. We'll break down Washington's new trade lectures and what they mean for India. Meanwhile, Pakistan's actual power broker, Army Chief Asim Munir, is in China. He joined Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif at the SCO meetings, and he's expected to attend Beijing's upcoming military parade alongside North Korea's Kim Jong-un. In other news, why the